If you are fasting right now and waiting for a breakthrough, this prayer is for you. Don't scroll. Please don't scroll right now, because if you are hearing this message is already touching something deep inside you, and that's not an accident, that's alignment. Listen to this slowly, let it breathe into you, because today, this Sunday, January 18th, 2026, carries a spiritual weight that only certain hearts can feel. And if you're fasting, if you chose sacrifice over comfort, silence over noise, prayer over distraction, then this message is for you. Yes, specifically for you, the one who has been quietly holding on while everyone else thinks you're strong enough not to need help, the one whose heart has been tired but faithful, the one who has been saying, "God, I don't need fancy answers, I just need a breakthrough." And right now heaven is responding. I need you to understand something before anything else. Your fast has been seen, not just acknowledged but noticed in the unseen realm. And there is a reason your spirit feels alert right now, a reason your emotions feel closer to the surface, a reason old memories, names, faces, and feelings have been floating back into your mind lately. Because when you fast, you don't just deny your body, you awaken your spirit, and awakened spirits attract divine messages, divine timing, and divine interruption, and this, right now, is one of those interruptions. God says, I had to stop you mid-scroll because your heart is ready to receive something it's been asking for in private. And if you've been feeling like you're at the edge of something but you can't explain what, if you've been sensing that your life is about to turn but the road still looks the same, if you've been whispering prayers at night that sound like, Lord, I'm tired of starting over, I'm tired of being patient, I'm tired of being strong, then stay right here, because this moment is not random, it's responsive. There is a reason you chose to fast now and not later, a reason your spirit said yes even when your body said no. And that reason is because sudden breakthroughs don't announce themselves loudly, they arrive quietly. They arrive when the heart is humble, open, and surrendered, and fasting creates a frequency that heaven responds to immediately. I want you to hear this clearly. What you thought would take months is already being rearranged behind the scenes. What you assumed would require endless waiting has entered a season of acceleration, and the proof is not external yet. It's internal. It's the way your spirit feels strangely calm even though nothing has changed. It's the way fear has started loosening its grip without explanation. It's the way you feel drawn to prayer instead of panic. And those are signs. Not emotions, signs that alignment has begun. Some of you listening have been seeing repeating numbers. 1111 when you check the clock, 222 when you're doubting, 444 when you're exhausted, and you brushed it off as coincidence. But this is confirmation, not coincidence, because God speaks in patterns when words would be too small, and those numbers are telling you that support is surrounding you, that balance is being restored, that protection has been activated. This fast is not about punishment, it's about positioning, and right now you are positioned for a divine shift. You didn't fast to impress God, you fasted because your soul needed clarity, and clarity always comes before breakthrough. God says, I am about to answer you in a way that will make sense only later. And that's why you had to be spiritually quiet first. If you felt disconnected from certain people recently, if conversations started fading, if some relationships suddenly felt heavy, it's not rejection, it's preparation. Because where you're going cannot carry everything you're holding, and fasting is how God helps you release without force. And yes, for some of you, this preparation is tied to love, soulmate energy, heart healing, divine reconnection, or divine separation, because a sudden breakthrough doesn't just change circumstances, it changes connections. If someone has been on your mind repeatedly during this fast, especially someone from your past, there is a reason, not necessarily because they are returning the same way, but because closure, clarity, or healing is being activated, And God does not bring emotional awareness without purpose. Your heart is being tuned, refined, recalibrated, and the tenderness you feel right now is not weakness, it's readiness. God says, "You are not behind, you are not forgotten, and you are not asking for too much. You are simply standing at the threshold of something that requires trust more than effort, surrender more than striving. And listen, this is important. Breakthrough energy often feels uncomfortable right before it manifests, because the old reality resists release. But don't mistake resistance for delay, because what you're feeling is the last stretch before the shift. Your fast has activated movement, and movement always creates tension before transformation. This Sunday is not ordinary, it's a marker, a hinge moment, a spiritual checkpoint, and years from now you will look back and say, "That was the day something unseen changed." Even if today ends quietly, even if nothing dramatic happens outwardly, because the loudest miracles often begin in silence. Stay with me, don't rush past this moment. Let it settle, let it speak, because this is only the beginning, and what God is about to reveal next will explain why you had to fast, why you had to wait, and why your breakthrough is not just coming, but coming suddenly. Stay right here, don't swipe away, because what I'm about to say is not comforting at first, but it is freeing, and freedom always comes before breakthrough. If you are still fasting, still listening, still breathing through the hunger, that means your spirit is strong enough to hear this truth without fear, and God says, "I need you to understand what has been happening in the unseen while you thought nothing was moving." Because fasting is not empty time, it is active warfare, quiet alignment, spiritual negotiation, and while your body felt weak, your spirit has been standing taller than it has in a long time. You didn't just skip meals, you stepped out of old cycles, old mindsets, old timelines, and that's why emotions have been surfacing in waves, because when the spirit rises, buried things lose their hiding place. Some of you have been feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and hope at the same time, like you're tired but not hopeless, like something inside you refuses to quit even though you've been stretched thin. And that is not coincidence. That is divine stamina being released into you, because God never brings you to a threshold without giving you the strength to cross it. Hear this clearly. Every fast attracts fire, but not destructive fire, refining fire, the kind that burns away confusion, fear, doubt, and attachment to outcomes that were never meant to stay. And that's why you've been questioning things you used to tolerate. That's why certain goals don't excite you anymore. That's why some dreams feel too small now, because the fire is upgrading your vision before it upgrades your reality. God says, "I am not just answering your prayers, I am correcting your expectations. Because what you asked for was good, but what is coming is aligned, and alignment always feels unfamiliar before it feels right." This is also why you may have felt spiritually sensitive lately, picking up on moods, energy, and unspoken emotions more easily, because fasting sharpens discernment, and discernment is necessary when sudden opportunities arrive, because not everything that looks good is God, and not everything God sends will look familiar. Your breakthrough will test your wisdom before it blesses your life, and that's why heaven prepared you first. Some of you are being repositioned financially, others emotionally, others spiritually, but all of you listening to this are being moved out of survival mode and into stewardship mode, and that shift requires maturity, not urgency. God says, "I delayed nothing, I trained you." Because if the blessing had arrived earlier, it would have owned you instead of served you, and you would have been dependent instead of empowered. Now you are ready. This fast broke something you couldn't name. An inner resistance, a fear of disappointment, a habit of expecting less so you wouldn't hurt, and God is gently removing that protection mechanism, because it's no longer needed where you're going. If you've been dreaming more vividly, sleeping lightly, or waking up at odd hours. This is your spirit syncing with a new rhythm, because the next season of your life will not move at the same pace as the last one, and your body is adjusting before your circumstances do. This is also why certain people have gone quiet, why conversations stalled, why messages were left unread. Not as punishment, but as preparation, because sudden breakthroughs often require solitude before celebration, and separation before elevation. God says, I needed your attention undivided, because what is coming next requires discernment, humility, and courage, not noise. And yes, for some of you, this fast is opening a doorway in love, but not in the way you expected, because true soulmate connections don't arrive to complete you, they arrive to walk with the version of you that has healed, awakened, and surrendered. And that's why this period had to be lonely, because loneliness taught you self-trust, emotional independence, and spiritual grounding. If a name has been resurfacing in your thoughts, it's not to pull you backward, it's to show you how far you've come, and whether that person returns or not, you are no longer the same person they once knew. God says, I am not restoring what broke you, I am aligning what can hold you. And that is why patience was required. Right now, angels are arranging details you cannot see. Conversations you're not part of, decisions being made in rooms you've never entered, timing being synchronized across people who don't even know your name, and all of it is leaning in your favor, not because you earned it perfectly, but because you surrendered sincerely. Fasting softened you without weakening you, and that balance is rare, powerful, and magnetic. The next opportunity will feel sudden, but it will also feel strangely familiar, like your spirit recognizes it before your mind understands it. And when that happens, don't rush, don't panic, don't overthink, pause, pray, and trust the clarity fasting has given you. This is not the season to chase, it's the season to receive. God says, I am not asking you to strive harder, I am asking you to stay aligned. Because alignment attracts what effort never could. Stay open, stay expectant, stay grounded. Because the fire has done its work, the fast has shifted your frequency. And what's coming next will prove that nothing you denied yourself was wasted, delayed, or forgotten. It was invested, and the return is already in motion. Stay with me, don't drift, don't let your attention wander. Because this part is where everything begins to make sense, even if your life hasn't changed yet. Because understanding always arrives before manifestation, and God says, I need you fully present for this. Since what's unfolding now requires awareness more than effort. If you've been feeling like you're standing on the edge of something, like the air around you feels different but the scenery hasn't changed, that's because a hidden door has already opened in the spirit, and the only thing left is for timing to catch up with alignment. Sudden breakthroughs rarely feel explosive at first. They feel subtle, quiet, almost anticlimactic, because heaven moves with precision, not chaos. And what's precise often looks slow until the exact second it isn't. Right now, decisions are being influenced on your behalf without your name ever being mentioned out loud. Hearts are being softened, perspectives are being shifted, and pathways that once seemed blocked are quietly being rerouted. And the reason you haven't been included in those conversations is because God didn't want your faith tied to human reassurance. You had to learn how to trust without proof, how to stand without applause, how to believe without updates. And fasting was the final lesson in that process. God says, I am about to give you clarity without chaos. Meaning you will not have to beg, explain, or force what is coming next, because what is aligned flows naturally. And what flows naturally doesn't drain you. This is how you will know it's from God. It will feel calm even though it's significant. It will feel steady even though it's new. And it will feel right even though it requires courage. Some of you have been bracing for impact, expecting drama, resistance, or conflict because that's what past breakthroughs demanded. But this time is different, because you're different, and the battles you used to fight externally are now being resolved internally. Which is why peace has started arriving before proof. The sudden turn you're praying for is not coming with noise, it's coming with clarity. And clarity is what allows you to recognize opportunity when it shows up disguised as responsibility, disguised as conversation, disguised as a small decision that feels bigger later. God says, I am about to test your readiness, not your patience. Because the door is open, but only discernment will show you how to walk through it without dragging old habits behind you. If you've felt less reactive lately, less emotional about things that used to trigger you, that's confirmation that healing has reached the root, and root healing changes outcomes permanently. This is also why your intuition feels sharper, why you've been feeling subtle nudges. Don't go there. Say this instead. Wait one more day. Reach out now. Those are not random thoughts. They are guidance, and fasting has quieted the noise enough for you to hear them clearly. Your breakthrough is going to require trust in those nudges, because sudden blessings often require immediate decisions, and hesitation is the only thing that can slow down what's already been released. God says, I am not sending you signs to impress you, I am sending you direction to protect you, because where you're going will expose you to new environments, new people, and new responsibilities, and protection is part of provision. For some of you, this sudden turn is connected to finances. Unexpected income, debt release, a door opening that you assumed was permanently shut. But for others, it's emotional freedom, the kind where you finally stop replaying old conversations in your head, stop waiting for apologies that may never come, and stop measuring your worth by someone else's ability to show up. That freedom is a breakthrough too, and it's one of the most powerful ones. Because it changes how you love, how you choose, and how you receive. Soulmate energy is strong right now, but not in a fantasy way, in a grounded, awakened way. Because soul-aligned connections don't arrive to rescue you, they arrive to recognize you, and recognition only happens when you are no longer hiding from yourself. If someone new enters your life soon and feels emotionally safe, calm, and honest rather than intense and dramatic, don't dismiss it as boring, because peace is not boredom, it's alignment, and alignment lasts. If someone from your past reaches out unexpectedly, pay attention to how your body reacts, not just your emotions, because your body remembers lessons your heart sometimes romanticizes. And discernment will keep you from reopening doors that were closed for protection, not punishment. God says, I am not repeating old cycles, I am revealing new standards. And that applies to love, work, purpose, and self-worth. The sudden turn will not ask you to abandon yourself, it will ask you to honor yourself, and that's how you'll know it's right. Right now, your timeline is shifting from waiting to receiving, from hoping to choosing, from surviving to building, and that shift can feel disorienting if you don't recognize it for what it is. But hear this. Nothing is about to be taken from you, only replaced with something that fits who you are now. The hidden door has opened, the alignment is locked in, and the only thing left is your willingness to walk forward without looking back to see who's watching. Stay present, stay grounded, stay faithful to what you've learned during this fast, because the moment everything shifts will not announce itself. It will simply arrive. And when it does, you'll realize this was the calm before the confirmation, the quiet before the acceleration, and the exact reason you had to be ready before the breakthrough appeared. Stay here with me. Don't rush this. Don't multitask. Don't let your mind wander. Because this part is sacred, and sacred moments require presence, not perfection. If you're still listening, it's because your spirit recognizes that this is more than words. It's an invitation, and God says, now is the moment you stop holding everything together and let me hold you. Because fasting was never meant to exhaust you, it was meant to empty you enough to receive. So right now, wherever you are, take a slow breath and let your shoulders relax, because this prayer is not about performance, it's about permission. Permission for God to enter the places you stopped talking about, the disappointments you buried under faith, the questions you were afraid to ask out loud. Father God, we come to you right now not pretending to be strong, not pretending to be okay, but coming exactly as we are, hungry, hopeful, tired, surrendered. And we thank you because you promised that when we seek you with our whole heart, you will answer, not later, not vaguely, but intentionally. Lord, you saw the fast, you saw the sacrifice, you saw the discipline it took to deny the body so the spirit could breathe again. And we ask you now to honor what was done in secret with clarity, peace, and sudden movement. Break every internal chain that still whispers fear, every mental loop that keeps replaying the past, every emotional attachment that no longer serves where we are going. God, release us from the weight of expectations we were never meant to carry. Other people's timelines, other people's opinions, other people's misunderstandings, and replace that weight with divine assurance, the kind that doesn't shout but settles deep in the soul. We ask you for forgiveness for the moments we doubted your timing, questioned your silence, or assumed delay. Meant denial, and we thank you that even in our confusion, you are still working faithfully on our behalf. Father, touch the areas where disappointment hardened us without us realizing it. Soften the heart without reopening old wounds. Restore trust without naivety. And give us discernment that is calm, clear, and courageous. For those fasting for financial breakthrough, we ask you to open doors that no human effort could unlock, to send provision through unexpected channels, to cancel burdens that have lingered too long, and to teach stewardship alongside blessings so the breakthrough lasts. For those fasting for emotional healing, we ask you to lift the heaviness that comes from carrying unanswered questions, to close chapters that no longer need revisiting, and to replace grief with peace that feels safe, steady, and real. For those fasting for love, alignment, and soulmate connection, we ask you to remove counterfeit attachments, heal abandonment wounds, and align hearts that are mature enough to choose each other daily, not just intensely. Let love arrive without confusion, without manipulation, without emotional exhaustion, and let it feel like home rather than a battlefield. God, awaken our spirits to recognize signs without chasing them, to trust guidance without needing constant reassurance, and to walk confidently even when the path unfolds one step at a time. We thank you for the angelic protection surrounding us right now, for the unseen help being dispatched, for the conversations being influenced, and for the delays that protected us from outcomes we weren't ready for yet. Lord, we release control over how the breakthrough must arrive, over who must be involved, and over when it must happen, and instead we receive your version, your timing, and your method, knowing that what you send will come with peace, not panic. We declare that cycles of lack, confusion, loneliness, and emotional exhaustion are ending now, not dramatically, not violently, but definitively, and that a new season of clarity, stability, and quiet confidence is beginning. God, seal this fast with wisdom, seal this prayer with discernment, and seal this moment with a sense of deep inner knowing that even if nothing changes externally today, everything has already shifted internally. We trust you enough to rest, enough to wait without anxiety, enough to move when you say move, and enough to stop forcing what you are already arranging. And Father, for the one listening who feels unseen, unheard, or forgotten, wrap them in your presence right now. Remind them that their life has meaning, their prayers have weight, and their obedience has not gone unnoticed. Let them feel peace where there was pressure, hope where there was heaviness, and assurance where there was doubt. We end this prayer not desperate, not fearful, but expectant, because we know that heaven does not stay silent when the heart is surrendered, and the breakthrough we asked for is already responding to our faith. Stay with me just a little longer, don't rush away now. Because this final part is not an ending, it's a sealing. And seals matter in the spirit because they mark completion, protection, and transition. If you've listened this far, it's because something inside you already knows that this moment is significant, even if you can't explain why. And God says, I am about to confirm what I started. In you. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with quiet certainty, the kind that settles into your chest and doesn't leave. Understand this clearly. Breakthroughs don't always arrive as events, they often arrive as decisions, realizations, and internal shifts that change how you respond to life. And that's why this one feels subtle but permanent. Before anything changes around you, something has already changed within you. And that internal shift is what guarantees the external one. You are no longer asking from desperation, you are expecting from alignment. And that difference changes everything. God says, I have moved you from begging to believing, from hoping to knowing. And knowing creates peace even before proof arrives. Over the next few days, pay attention, not with anxiety, not with obsession, but with awareness, because confirmation will come in ordinary moments. A sentence that lands deeper than expected, a song that feels like it's speaking directly to you, a message that arrives at the exact moment you were doubting, a sudden sense of calm when you think about the future instead of fear. These are not small things, they are signals, gentle taps from heaven reminding you that you are on the right path. Some of you will receive confirmation through release. Finally feeling emotionally done with something that used to hold power over you. And don't underestimate that, because emotional freedom is often the miracle that makes room for every other blessing. Others will receive confirmation through redirection, a plan changing, a door closing softly, an opportunity falling away without pain. And instead of resisting it, you'll feel relief. And that relief is your spirit recognizing protection. God says, I am not removing blessings, I am removing distractions. And what remains will be lighter, clearer, and more aligned with who you've become. Love energy is also stabilizing right now, not in intensity but in clarity. And that matters, because clarity prevents cycles. If someone enters your life soon, or re-enters with a different tone, different maturity, different intention, you will notice that it no longer triggers anxiety, overthinking, or emotional confusion. And that is how you will know healing has completed its work. You are no longer attracted to chaos disguised as passion, you are drawn to peace disguised as simplicity. And that shift will protect your heart in ways you don't yet fully understand. God says, I am not rushing your love story, I am rooting it. Because rooted things last, and what lasts doesn't need to be dramatic to be powerful. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, you are entering a season where progress looks steady rather than frantic, intentional rather than reactive, and sustainable rather than exhausting. And that may feel unfamiliar if you're used to surviving, but unfamiliar does not mean wrong, it means new. You may notice that your prayers start changing too, becoming less about fixing problems and more about asking for wisdom, direction, and alignment, and that shift is proof of growth. You are no longer praying from lack, you are praying from trust. God says, I am teaching you how to walk with me, not chase me. And walking implies partnership, pace, and presence. The miracle you are fasting for is not just something God does for you, it's something He does with you, and that's why it required surrender instead of striving. As this Sunday comes to a close, don't measure its impact by what happened outwardly. Measure it by how you feel inwardly, by the peace that replaced pressure, by the clarity that replaced confusion, by the quiet confidence that replaced fear. Years from now, you may not remember what you ate or didn't eat during this fast, but you will remember this shift, this moment where you stopped forcing and started trusting, where you stopped waiting for permission and started believing you were already chosen. God says, you don't need another sign to prove I am with you, you need rest to receive what I have prepared. And rest is not inactivity, it's faith without tension. Tonight, sleep without replaying worries, without planning 10 steps ahead, without bracing for disappointment, because what is coming does not require your stress to arrive on time. The breakthrough will meet you where you are, not where you exhaust yourself trying to be. Stay soft, stay open, stay grounded in what this fast has taught you, because this is not the end of a prayer. It's the beginning of a new way of living, loving, and believing. And when the manifestation shows up, and it will, you'll realize it didn't come suddenly at all. It came right on time, after you were ready to hold it without fear, without attachment, and without losing yourself. This is your confirmation, this is your closure, this is your quiet miracle beginning to unfold. And you didn't miss it, you were prepared for it. If this prayer touched your heart, type Amen in the comments and subscribe for daily prayers that strengthen your faith and bring divine breakthroughs.